My name is Aria David. It is May 1st of 2020. I am at my house, and this is the final presentation, the persuasive speech. Have you ever stopped to think on how different the world would be if we took into consideration the situations behind actions and words? Or how peaceful it would be if we just took a step back and put each other into other people's shoes? This is why I believe that consideration is one of the most important values to learn and apply in everyday life. To me, consideration is a virtue. It means listening to others, taking their feelings into consideration as well as your own, seeing the other side of something, but not putting yourself down. You take both sides of a conflict and look at them, but with a little more understanding. To explain this, I'm going to give you two examples from my life and giving you an example of a person who inspires me to be a more considerate and better person. So growing up, I had a tough time, but one of the examples that really influenced me on how I wanted to live my life more considerately happened when I started doing poorly in school because of some tough times that I was having at home. Instead of my teachers pulling me aside, asking me what was wrong and listening to me, they just accused me of not caring, not trying, and neglecting my studies. This affected me for a really long time because I was made to believe that it was all on me and that my side wasn't important. As I got older, though, I realized that if they had just stopped and listened, that we could have figured out something that worked for the both of us, that would have helped them be able to get my work in and for me to succeed. On this, I got to see the side of the negativity that comes from not considering people and their sides and situations. I got to see how it hurts me and how it can affect someone in the long run, especially when they're little. The next example, though, is a little different. With this one, I got to see how me not being considerate hurts someone else. So in high school, I took a field trip with my AP class. We had been looking forward to this field trip for over a year, and we were all really excited. But the second day, I had a massive headache, really sore feet because we walked a lot the day before, and it was really cold and wet. My friend, however, was making a video for everybody. She was taking pictures and videos that we took ourselves throughout the trip and putting them into a collage so that we would have a memory of the trip that was really fond and fun. On that day, she asked me to take a selfie with her, and I snapped because I wasn't feeling good and I didn't want to do it. And it dampened her mood instantly. That entire day, I was taking out my negativity on everybody else. And as soon as I realized that I hadn't been considerate in the fact that she didn't realize that I didn't feel good and that she was just trying to make a really good memory with me, I apologized. It made me realize that I can hurt others just as much by not considering something, even in small situations. There are times, though, that the situation really isn't that small, and being considerate can affect more than just a friend, but an entire group of people or the nation. A good figure to remember when looking at consideration and how can it affect a large mass of people would be Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers took elements from not only his childhood, but the situations around him as a driving force for him to make something that would influence a younger nation of people to be more considerate and kind. He wanted to help make the world more inclusive and peaceful, which was a big driving force behind the meaning of "Would you be my neighbor?" A good example of this would be on the episodes where he would remind a little boy who is blind to feed his fish. He wouldn't call him out on TV or anything, but the boy had written in and told him about it. And so he was considerate in the fact that, he wasn't just influencing kids that could see, but kids that couldn't. And so to remind the boy to feed his fish, he would always announce that he was now feeding his fish, which is just a really good example, because I'm sure that it wasn't just that little boy that was reminded to feed his pets. He built his television career on teaching children about subjects like war and racism, death, and others, but in a way that not only helped them to understand the subject and in a way that wouldn't hurt them negatively, but taught them that although we can all experience similar situations, everybody experiences things differently. And so we have to take into consideration the type of situation that they may be in. Because although we all experience something like death per se, someone might lose someone like a mother instead of someone that they weren't really that close to. And this inspires me because it builds on the idea that being more considerate can build a world that is more inclusive, makes people feel important, heard, and can spread less hate and negativity. So as I pointed out, through both my personal experiences and through Mr. Rogers' initiative, learning to be more considerate takes time and a want for change. Whether it's because you realize that it would have made a situation that you were in more fair, or a situation that you've observed, whether it's through social media or in person, but it's not you personally, to be a more fair situation, it's an important value that everyone should want to learn and want to teach others. To really start to do this, look back on your own life and experiences. How would a more considerate mindset have helped you deal with someone in a situation with someone else? How could it have helped you when you needed someone to understand your side? Let a more considerate mindset be a driving force for you, like it has been for me, and maybe the world can start to be more understanding of each other.